Happy New Year and welcome to the third of 6 low thyroid videos on addressing things naturally. This is probably the most common way that the low thyroid problems are addressed naturally because it makes the most sense and it's the easiest thing to bottle because most of the time you're addressing vitamin and mineral deficiencies that lead to decreased thyroid output. So let's talk about what that looks like on blood work. We're going to try and keep it simple. We've got, again, just like in the previous video, we've got TSH, which again is the gas that goes to the engine that drives the thyroid. Thyroid stimulating hormone stimulates the thyroid to work. And the measure for how much thyroid is being put out is T4. That is 90+% of the thyroid, so it's a good marker to use. We're not talking about T3 right now. That'll be category 4. That is where you've got normal T4, but depressed T3. And of course, that's going to cause thyroid symptoms as well. So in this case, you're going to see that your brain is stepping on the gas pedal to speed up the thyroid. But for some reason, the T4 is not accelerating. So there's something in between. There's a disconnect for the thyroid output. So most commonly, that is involved with the formin. We're going to call them the formin. TPO, thyroid peroxidase, is an enzyme that, just like any other enzyme in the body, will accelerate reactions. So when it's upregulated, it will drive more thyroid. When it's downregulated, it will depress thyroid down. So what are the things that tell the formin to depress, to slow down? Commonly, probably most commonly, you're going to see stress hormone issues. So we've talked about stress hormones, mental, physical, and chemical drivers of stress hormones. That's in the first video. I'll reference that for you. We talked about it in depth, so I'm not going to waste too much time talking about it here. But know that that is a primary root driver of a lot of thyroid problems, so it's a good thing to address. The low progesterone, if you have cycle issues, whether short, long, spotting, any PMS issues, you should be addressing those because they directly connect to your thyroid issues. Progesterone is one of those things that does upregulate this enzyme. So when you're low, you don't have that upregulating the TPO. So that could be a primary root issue. And a lot of the things that drive low progesterone could be involved with high stress hormones, something called pregnenolone steal, where your body is prioritizing cortisol production over making progesterone. So it's actually stealing your progesterone, turning it into stress hormones, because everything starts out as cholesterol, turning into pregnenolone, and then either progesterone, or it can get pushed out to cortisol. So we don't go too heavy into that, but just know that exists. So it's important to address. So now down to the more straightforward things. If the TPO isn't getting downregulated because of one of these things, then maybe it just doesn't have enough manpower to do its work. The enzyme is driving, but it doesn't have anything to drive. So that would be a lack of cofactors. So this is a very basic breakdown of what thyroid manufacturing hormones look like. So thyroglobulin, made up of tyrosine. So tyrosine could be a supplement that people take as well for thyroid. Thyroglobulin, this is the base of thyroid hormone. So what you do in the thyroid is that you attach iodine to it using some vitamins and minerals to make T4. So if you imagine you didn't have enough iodine, you are not going to make enough T4. No, it doesn't matter how much thyroglobulin you have, because you don't have enough iodine to stick onto the thyroid hormone. Alternatively, you could have enough iodine, but if you don't have enough zinc, selenium, or any one of these cofactors, then you're not going to be able to attach the iodine onto the thyroid hormone. I mean, it makes sense that, and if you look at most thyroid supplements, you're going to see all of these things likely in a thyroid supplement. Maybe it'll include some of the other things that I don't have listed here, but these are the most common ones. A couple other Bs, copper, and not as common on copper, but iron as well. So if you have anemia, if you have obvious things screaming like that, anemia is primary, so you need to address that. So this is where, taking a supplement might actually be helpful, and then looking at why you're low on these particular nutrients, which we always talk about in these videos, nutrient drains, addressing the things that drive nutrient drains, particularly magnesium, zinc, B6. You're going to see stress hormones, inflammation, and blood sugar fluctuations, lowering, depleting you of these levels. And your body's going to prioritize, which makes sense, reducing stress hormones, keeping your blood sugar stable, reducing inflammation over driving your metabolism. It's the first thing to go. Thyroid stuff's almost always secondary, if not always secondary. So very rare cases, it's the thyroid's fault. So that's pretty straightforward. A lot of times you'll see ashwagandha attached in there. That's probably because of this stress hormone issue. So if you have any questions about this particular pattern, just leave a comment if I didn't explain something well enough. I think we've pretty much covered it. It's pretty straightforward. One of the smaller categories, but also very commonly talked about. Not really one that's overlooked, to be honest. So yeah, you can either email me at doc@drtoddanderson.com. You can sign up for a 20-minute consultation if you want to talk about things more directly, more personally. Otherwise, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and comment below if you have any suggestions on future videos or different topics we want to cover. I'm going to wear out thyroid here in about 3 more videos, and then we'll have to move on to something else. So until next time, thanks for watching.